Hey guys, Galaxy Studios here. This video will be detailing my third attempt at the Radical Red Normal Mode Hardcore Nuzlocke. If you haven't seen my previous video, I'd recommend checking it out to get some context for what you're about to see. If you don't want to, that's alright. You'll just be more confused than a Rotom wondering why it's countered by Sandfield Gliscor. Anyway, where we left off, I just suffered a devastating loss to Lorelei, made worse by the fact that it was entirely my fault. I almost certainly could have won this run if I'd slowed down and gotten a couple more Fire Starter eggs, but I played recklessly, leaned fully into a Trick Room sweep that had a 0% chance of working, and ended up getting sent right back to square one. However, there was only one thing for me to do. I had to get back up, dust myself off, and start the next run. This time with a plan for my Elite Four team in place before I even booted up the game. As I said at the end of the last video, my plan for this run was to humiliate the game, to the point where I didn't always bring a full team of 6 to major boss fights. Some pretty insane stuff happens during this run, such as me sweeping multiple late game boss fights with 3, 2, or even 1 slot, as well as the craziest usage of a move I've seen in any Nuzlocke since the Ditto Swagger Sweep. Get ready, because I'm giving this attempt all I've got. This is the Radical Red Normal Mode Hardcore Nuzlocke, Attempt 3. Right off the bat, I make a change to my starter selection. In my first 2 attempts, I picked Tepig for Embor's raw power and because Tepig was my first ever Pokemon. For this run, I'm going with Fuecoco. When I get to Celadon City and start hatching starter eggs, I'm looking for 2 prizes in particular, and Fuecoco is one of them. It's by far the best defensive answer to Giovanni's Mega Kangaskhan, and basically trivializes the first fight with him as long as you have a fast and strong Water Ground or Psychic Special attacker for this stuff it can't beat. It's really long-term planning, but I want Skeledirge on my side no matter what. As for the other prize, it's Mudkip. Mega Swampert and Rain absolutely thrashes the entirety of mid-game and most of late-game Radical Red, making its mark as potentially the best starter in all of Radical Red Normal Mode. It's something I want on my side even more than Skeledirge, which might make you ask why I'm prioritizing Fuecoco as my starter. You'll have to wait a while for the answer. With the power of careful planning and good enough early game encounters, I blast my way through the early game. Falconer and Brock are easily dealt with, Mount Moon is brute forced by Azumarill and friends, and although I risked a crit against the Kamala Grunt, I did get through unscathed. A fight against Bugsy is available now, but I decide to hold off on it for now. I need some more firepower before I tackle that fight. With the power of friendship and also a 6 vs 4 battle, I easily defeat Misty. I could get my Route 24 and 25 encounters before heading to Vermilion, but I decided to delay both for a pretty long time. After clearing the SSN double battles in Brendan, I have the opportunity to challenge Surge, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. Instead, I decide to challenge Bugsy at the last possible moment before his team gets a massive power increase. The reason why, I now have access to Golisopod, who can do this funny thing called kill Lokix and Scyther back to back. With Gyarados to counter Scizor and a supporting cast for Ledian, the fight is basically a guaranteed win. Alright, now for Surge. Lantern, a guaranteed encounter, absolutely devastates the majority of Surge's team. As I previously proved, you don't even need a ground type when Lantern just walls and pivots on Mega Manectric and Bellibolt. I, however, did have a ground type this time in Camerupt, who I used to kill both Pincurchin and Pawmont. Finally, Sucker Punch Arbok can handle Raichu after switching on the Psyshock, and the early game is officially done. The Celadon City starter eggs provide a much-needed buff to my box. While the standard play for hardcore runs is to hatch fire eggs for Incineroar and grass eggs for Meowscarada, there's an even stronger prize for normal mode runs. You already know who it is, and after a few rounds of hatching water eggs, Navark rejoins the team. My other notable prizes include competitive Empoleon and the other contender for normal mode's best starter, Blaziken. Erica is, once again, tricky without a plan, pretty easy with one. Golisopod beats Rillaboom, Blaziken walls Meowscarada, Meowstic one-shots Mega Venusaur, Bramble baits Hidden Power Ice for a free switch into Skeledirge to 1v1 Electrode, and Liquid Ooze Tentacruel just dissolves Meganium. Erica down, and Silph Co is on the horizon. First, though, is my first fight against Giovanni. And as always, this wasn't that hard with Skeledirge at my side. I had a solid answer for every one of Giovanni's team members, with the fight including a pretty funny moment where Earthworm shed-tailed into a Kangaskhan that promptly died to burn. And now, Silph Co. I've said this before, but this is definitely the hardest part of normal mode outside of the Pokemon League, and it starts with my rival. This fight, right here, is the main downside of picking Skeledirge as my starter. My rival is coming at me with an unpredictable Staraptor, a Shell Smash Mega Blastoise, a King Gambit that can survive almost any one singular hit thanks to Chocolberry, though I managed to pick up something that does one-shot it, and worst of all, that Darmanitan! This thing having U-turn is absolutely evil, and Darmanitan is the reason why I would actually recommend that beginner players choose a water starter for Radical Red on their first go-around. However, it wasn't the Darmanitan that ended up getting a kill on my team. It was the Mega Blastoise. My plan for Mega Blastoise was to kill it with Golisopod's first impression after it lowered its defenses with Shell Smash, but it ended up setting up on Golisopod, and there was nothing that could live a hit from this monster, and nothing that outsped it. I needed to sacrifice someone to get Golisopod back in, and after some thought, I realized it could only be Empoleon. Rest in peace, Dark Knight. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you longer. As for Silph Co, I came up with a slightly unorthodox strategy. The team of Jellicent, Azumarill, and Incineroar is what I've been told is a standard normal mode play, but I didn't have Incineroar and I didn't want to risk the lens where Gothitelle targets Jellicent, so I ended up going with a Golisopod lead. As it turns out, this just risks a 25% chance for Gothitelle to not get hit on turn 1, and this plan wasn't well thought out at all, but I'm not punished, and I get to switch into Blaziken on the second turn, who proceeds to literally sweep the remainder of the fight with an assist from Brendan's Mega Sceptile. The last stop in my journey through Silph Co was my second fight against Giovanni. I didn't have Lunala this time, obviously, but I did have Jellicent, who was able to eviscerate large chunks of the fight with Water Bubble boosted Water Spouts. Skeledirge also showed why I picked him as my starter, burning Giovanni's two biggest threats, Garchomp and Excadrill, on the switch as he forced the Mega Kangaskhan out. As for the Shell Smash Torterra that hardcore runners tend to fish for Furco Walrein to counter, my positioning let me consistently deny Shell Smash and eventually take out the Torterra with Alolan Sandslash. Finally, Skeledirge gets a burn on Kangaskhan, and Blaziken switches in to finish off Silph Co once and for all. My reward for not taking the Walrein on Route 12 and getting through Giovanni is the static Snorlax that I easily catch, and who becomes the first member of my planned Elite Four team. After once again sweeping Gian and Chuck with Gyarados, I walk up to the run-defining double battle that is the 5th gym leader. Last run, I swept Sabrina with 2 Pokemon. This run, I don't have the Pangoro that was able to delete her normal types, so my plan for this run is to sweep Sabrina with 2 Pokemon. Rigid Danger Bitey Jungle Noodle makes a return, this time paired with Mightyena, both holding Chillin Berries to discourage Hyper Voice from Indeedee. Arbok immediately takes out Hatterene with Strong Jaw boosted Poison Fang, same as last time, and Mightyena uses Howl, boosting both of my Pokemon's attack stats. As Sabrina sends in an Ursaluna that is guaranteed to protect, the fight is already over. Predicting the protect, Arbok sets up with Coil, and Mightyena goes for a second Howl, as Indeedee, forced to use Mystical Fire because of the Chillin Berries and double Dark types, does no damage. From there, thanks to Jawlock being changed to a Fighting type move and being boosted by Strong Jaw on both my Pokemon, Arbok takes out both Normal types and Gardevoir, while Mightyena takes care of Indeedee and Brute Bonnet. That's another completely riskless 2-slot sweep of Sabrina. Thank you, Rigid Danger Bitey Jungle Noodle. Before I move on to the Gym Leader rematches, there's a fight against Dragon Tamer Ramiro that I simply have to show. I delayed my Eevee's evolution for a very long time because I anticipated using Umbreon in the Silph tag battle, but I ended up going with the Blaziken line instead. However, this extreme amount of delay on my Eevee's evolution led to Sylveon having something absolutely insane in its moveset. Enjoy the fight, warped foreground and all. I've come up with quite a plan for this Mega Lapras trainer. And one that I hope you're gonna like. And it starts by just killing both of these at the same time. Detect, Seed Bomb. Both of these should attack Sceptile. I'm holding a Yachi Berry. Ice Beam always kills the Sceptile. There's no reason for the Milotic to target anything else. Alright. And now both of these are going to die. Adamant Nature, Miracle Seed, Leaf Blade kills the Milotic, and I'm going to Shadow Sneak the Pikachu. This Milotic always dies. Crit did not matter. Hisui and Gudra on the right, Mega Lapras on the left. I always switch this into Geraldo, and for now, I'm going to be switching this into Cryocannon, the Alolan Sandslash. Since I know Gudra is never going to be Flash Cannoning into the left slot. Alright, freeze dry into this slot. Please do not give me frostbite. Alright. Now, this is a speed tie. My Sylveon literally speed ties Lapras. It isn't really that big of a deal, but I would love to win this speed tie. Because it would make dealing with the Hisui and Gudra a lot easier. Are you guys ready to see this? I am using Trump Card Sylveon. +200 base power! Pixelate boosted! Same type attack boosted, off of a Sylveon. This is enough to kill like 3 Mega Laprases. And now I'm just going to start firing off attacks. And that, my viewers, is Dragon Tamer Ramiro beaten with Trump Card Sylveon. I knew I delayed my evolution for a reason. With access to the Super Rod and Fuchsia, I finally cash in my Route 25 delay and pick up a Politoed to pair with my Mega Swampert. This duo will power my run to the Elite Four, and it starts by absolutely thrashing my rematch with Surge once again. For Brock, I unveil potentially the second coolest set of the run, Cloud9 Modest Expert Belt Hidden Power Grass Golduck. This one-shots 5 of Brock's 6 Pokemon, including the League Great Tusk and Bateson Tyranitar, permanently giving me the weather advantage as I switch to Politoed. I don't even care that Dragon Dance and Weakness Policy gets his Tyranitar to +4/+2. I've got Mega Swampert and Rain, and that's all that matters. Brock rematch down and only 1 rematch to go. The Misty rematch started the same as last time, Sunny Day, turn 1. From there, everything is easily taken care of. Charizard burns Ferrothorn, Sceptile crushes Seismitoad, Tentacruel just demolishes Gorbis, my good friend Adamant Silver Powder Golisopod steps in to beat Gyarados, Sylveon one-shots Kingdra, and I switch back to Water Absorb Jellicent to completely wall Palafin. The path to Koga is clear. I didn't have a soundproof Pokemon in my box, which was going to make the Swellow and Toxtricity significantly harder. Thankfully, my Lantern had enough special bulk to 1v1 the Swellow, though it took a while before it could get a clean hit on it. Mega Toxtricity was answered by the Fire Ground type Sevi and Dodrio, who with the Focus Sash was able to kill it with Headlong Rush. Tentacruel beats Iron Valiant, Blaziken is barely able to 1v1 the Choice Scarf Drapion, Lantern finally gets a clean hit on Swellow and kills it, Jellicent walls Excelgor, and the Battle Bond Greninja on the back is met with a Play Rough straight to the face from Azumarill. That's the cleanest Koga I've ever done. With the ability to use the Surf HM, I pick up the next 2 members of my Elite Four team. Floatzel, who as I explained in the last video has Technician boosted Surging Strikes, and Slowbro, who you will be hearing a lot about later. And now, the reason I delayed Route 24. This is perhaps the most important moment of the entire run. Take it away, Live Galaxy. Alright. This is the most important encounter of the run. While double battles are turned on and I have gotten the Buizel dupe, I am looking for Whimsicott or Illumise, and I have over a 50% chance to get it. If I win this roll, I have the next member of my Elite Four team. If I don't, I have to rethink my Lorelei. Please, please, just give it to me! Yes! I end up bringing 2 Pokemon to the Cinnabar Island May fight. With rank support, Power Up Punch Mega Swampert sweeps May's entire team without any effort. My Blaine plan is the same as last time, albeit with some new pieces. Mega Swampert gets in under Rain, and with support from pivoting moves and items, is able to eviscerate 2/3 of Blaine's team. Scovillain forces him out, but Zapdos easily handles Scovillain. Finally, Blaziken is able to beat the Mega Charizard Y, and a riskless Blaine has been completed once again. Now, as I approach the Cerulean Cave back-to-back fight against the admins, I'm going to explain what makes Mega Slowbro, frankly, overpowered. Mega Slowbro has the ability Shell Armor, making it immune to critical hits. It also gets access to the set of moves Calm Mind, Amnesia, and Iron Defense, boosting its bulk while denying opponents the ability to crit through them, which is usually the risk of using such strategies in a Nuzlocke. It also gets access to the healing move Slack Off, keeping itself healthy and ready to set up even more. While this only leaves Slowbro with access to one move slot for an attacking move, that's usually enough and the move can be tailored for each fight. The last piece of the puzzle is Radical Red's Switch in AI, which has a quirk I didn't realize until after this run was over. Radical Red's Switch in AI actually prioritizes Pokemon that don't die in one hit to the opposing Pokemon's moves, and will never send in something that's vulnerable to their attacks unless it is no other option. For example, during this Archer fight, Archer switched into Mimikyu instead of his Mega Houndoom that could have stopped my sweep, since Scald hits Houndoom a lot harder than it hits Mimikyu. I ended up unintentionally abusing this quirk of Radical Red's AI a lot throughout the rest of my run, including this fight where, apart from some fake-out support to break Mamoswine's Focus Sash, Mega Slowbro was able to sweep the entirety of the back-to-back. Yep, all of it. And now for the final fight against Giovanni. I can only bring 3 Pokemon to this tag battle featuring Tapu Lele, Scrafty, the duo of Tyranitar and Excadrill, Power Herb Celesteela, and a Mewtwo that, in a mechanical change new to version 4.0 in normal mode, Mega Evolves when it dies. I had a Lunala to wall Mewtwo last time, but I needed a different plan this time. Thankfully, once Mega Kingler takes care of Tapu Lele, I go to Assault Vest Alolan Muck on the Mewtwo, who's able to chew its way through both health bars while taking basically nothing from even Mega Mewtwo live. As Tyranitar sets up sand, I ended up improving on my last team and bringing Politoed to remove the sand and gain the weather advantage, even giving it a Choice Scarf to flip turn out of there as Dialga kills Tyranitar. I go to Muck, intending to sacrifice it for a free switch to Kingler, but Excadrill actually targets Dialga. With a safe switch into Kingler, Celesteela is easily dealt with, and thanks to a monster showing from Lance, Giovanni has been defeated for the final time. It's time to get to the Pokemon League. Against Claire, I do literally the exact same thing I did against May. Flip turn, power up punch twice, kill 5 Mons. After some very stressful hunting, I pick up the 5th member of my Elite Four team, Chi-Yu. My team's almost complete, but I need to make it to the league. The fights leading up to and within Victory Road aren't free by any means, but I'm free to sacrifice basically everything in my box except for the 6 I'll be bringing to the league. I make it through, and since I won't be bringing the Rain Squad to the league, decide to give them one last chance to shine against Morty, a Johto leader I didn't need to grab the Shed Shell from until right now. Honestly, I'm grateful to the Rain Squad for carrying the entirety of mid-game and most of late game. I'm glad they could have one last chance to shine, even if it meant the unfortunate death of Politoed. All the same, I'll see them on the other side. With that, it's time to reveal the team. It's very similar to my last team, but with a couple changes that make it even stronger. Overdrive the Floatzel, the speedy striker. As I said previously, this Weasel's ability to beat Focus Sash leads is invaluable to the team, and makes him my best lead on average into the league. His ability to hit fast with such a strong move as Technician-boosted Searching Strikes also makes him able to 1v1 some key threats in later battles. Moab Assured Destroyer, the Slowbro, the Linchpin. I've already explained what she does, but trust me, you have yet to see the fully unleashed power of Mega Slowbro. Beware. The Tack Zone, the Chi-Yu, the Railgun. One half of my Lorelei duo, Chi-Yu will permanently be holding a choice item throughout this league. As potentially the hardest hitter available before the post-game full stop, I will definitely be grateful to have the damage fish on my side for Lorelei and especially Agatha. Adora the Whimsicott, the Swift support. Whimsicott is one of the 3 Pokemon that have the traits necessary to be the second part of my Lorelei strategy, and fulfills the excellent role of Encore Fairy much better than Primarina ever could. Get ready, Lance, because I won the coin toss. Juggernaut the Snorlax, the Ghostbuster. Agatha is the Elite Four member my team as a whole is the worst matchup into, and Snorlax is almost certainly the best normal type I have access to for this fight. The insane level of Special Bulk combined with a pretty good attack power makes Snorlax able to 1v1 a lot of threats in both of Agatha's teams, most notably either Fluttermane or Chi-Yu. Snorlax is also going to be 1v1ing specific threats in the final 2 fights if everything goes according to plan. And finally, it's time to reveal the last member of my team, Cryo Cannon, the Alolan Sandslash, the Stopgap. The only thing my team needed was a Lance lead, and I'm not bringing Combo out to a fight where he has a 50% chance to immediately lose. Instead, I'm returning to my Lance lead from the last attempt, who's going to do exactly one thing and do it well. This is my team. It's an upgrade from last time for sure, but I'm still a bit worried it might not be enough. With that said, there's nothing else I can do but walk in and start the fight against Lorelei's Snow Team. It's time for round 2. After 2 consecutive Elite Four runs, there's no way I can take another loss this late in the game. I needed to get this win, or I might never. Let's end this. I stare down the lead that ended my last run and click Flamethrower and Sunny Day. Ninetales fails an Aurora Veil and Choice Spec's Flamethrower melts Glaceon, setting the theme for the rest of the fight. Rotom immediately switches in, and I reveal the reason why Whimsicott is the perfect partner for Chi-Yu. Fake tears. Rotom's special defense is cut in half, Ninetales sets the snow back up, and Rotom Wash, the Fire Resist, is taken out in a single hit by Choice Spec's Flamethrower. From there, Chi-Yu sweeps the rest of Lorelei's team, while Whimsicott alternates between Sunny Day and Fake Tears to make sure Aurora Veil is never set up. I have researched Radical Red Switch and AI mechanics, and I can say for certain that this was a riskless sweep of Lorelei Snow. Now for Bruno. Bruno was the reason why I ran a Tib in Nature on Chi-Yu. I needed to outspeed Zacian. My plan for Bruno involves Whimsicott Encore and Combo Woe, Chi-Yu pulling out the funny damage calc against Zacian, and Whimsicott potentially having to clutch up against Urshifu. Of course, all this is assuming I face the Infernape lead. If I don't, it's the Great Tusk lead. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Mega Slowbro just set up Iron Defense and Calm Mind, then swept the entire team with boosted skulls. Bruno, what is a dog to a non-believer? On to Agatha. I got hit with a catastrophic bug on Agatha. For some reason, specifically on the fight against Agatha, Regenerator decided to take a day off. Considering that Regenerator pivoting was my way of taking out Agatha's most problematic Pokemon, this threw the fight completely out of whack. However, I was not going to give up this easily. After some thought, I decided to reset the fight and try to beat Agatha. This, however, meant I couldn't use Slowbro even as a pivot, which not only forced me into a 5v6, but left me with no counter to Agatha's biggest threat, Marshadow. With the single hardest stab combination in the entire game to resist in Ghost Pulse fighting, insane attack power and speed surpassing my entire team, a signature move that invalidates Mega Slowbro, and Bulk Up on top of all of that, Marshadow normally requires trainers to bring a normal type and a ghost type to PB stall it entirely. My plan for Marshadow was to switch between Regenerator, Slowbro, and Snorlax, but the aforementioned bug left me up this creek without a paddle, or rather, without a ghost type. I was forced to do what few normal mode runs ever have to do. Duke it out with Marshadow the old-fashioned way. But you didn't think a little bug was going to stop me, did ya? Lance, Sandslash finally gets his payoff. Holding an air balloon to dodge Earthquake and having Earthquake and Triple Axle in his moveset to prevent Lance from switching, Sandslash is able to Icicle Crash the Aerodactyl down to Sash, then Rapid Spin to remove rocks. On the incoming Iron Jugulus, I pivot into Eject Button Snorlax to get Floatzel in, who manages to chunk a Juggy's health with Surging Strikes and avoid the 25% chance to be put to sleep. As Lance switches to Dialga, I flip turn out to Chi-Yu, who baits Roar of Time. In this game, Roar of Time has been changed to an 80 base power special Dragon Tail, meaning I really don't want to be hit by it if I want my plan to stay on track. That plan being just reacting to what Lance sends out. Whimsicott, being a fairy, is not only able to be immune to Roar of Time, but is able to lock Lance into the move with Encore, forcing a switch the next turn. As Melmetal comes in, I U-turn into Mega Slowbro, which was unintentionally probably the best decision I could have made. In front of Melmetal, I set up Iron Defenses, which boost the power of my attacking move for this fight, Body Press. Because of the switch in AI I explained earlier, Lance actually throws the fight by bringing in first Dragonite, then Mega Salamence, before the members of his team who could actually touch Slowbro, just because they resisted Body Press. Slowbro is able to kill both of them, and after another Whimsicott pivot on Dialga, Melmetal gets obliterated by a Choice Specs Overheat from Chi-Yu. Yet another Encore from Whimsicott leads to Iron Jugulis being picked up by Moonblast, and after one final pivot through Chi-Yu, Whimsicott is finally able to kill Primal Dialga, getting me to the champion. Thank you so much for watching. Radical Red was a pretty fun game for me to Nuzlocke. The boss rush feel of the game was basically the polar opposite of Run and Bun's constant grind of trainers that all require perfect planning. My Run and Bun video remains my favorite video I've ever made, and I've been overjoyed to see the traction it has received recently. But at the end of the day, my Run and Bun video was me throwing myself against a wall until I broke through. I can say with absolute certainty that even a low-range ROM hack like Radical Red Normal Mode was harder for me to complete with Hardcore Nuzlocke rules than my entire run of Run and Bun. I'm still proud of what I did in Run and Bun, but I harbor no illusions that my run is more or less impressive than it actually is. This will be far from the last ROM hack I Nuzlocke, but for now, it's time to finish this one, and I'd recommend those with headphones to take them off and for everyone to turn the volume down. I recorded the entirety of the Pokemon League with headphones on, and I didn't know just how close it was to the microphone I was using until it was over. With that, I present to you a fight where I proved to myself that I could definitively do it. A fight where I finally finish a run that can actually compare to Nuzlocke's because it is one. A fight where I start my long journey toward beating Pokemon Run and Bun again. I present to you Galaxy Studios versus Indigo League champion Bloons. I hope you enjoy it. Bye, guys.
Alright, fake out. Please! Theramosa! Okay. U-turn into Koraidon, please! For the love of God, please U-turn into Koraidon! Eternatus. Alright. Not the worst, but not the best. I'm clicking Earthquake. D-Max Cannon. This could still very well be Meteor Beam, no matter what. I am more than willing to sacrifice Pokemon here. Another D-Max Cannon. Eternatus goes down. Alright, please go Koraidon. Alright! Alright, this is my entry point. This is the entire reason I picked Skeledirge as my starter. Just so I can switch into Slowbro here and start the setup. Alright. Just go ahead, keep boosting alongside me. I can tank hits no problem. And you've only got a few turns of Sun. I really, really need +6 before I kill this. +6. I'm gonna slack off twice. And now I can finally start attacking. This isn't even close to over. But if I could just get through this one RNG check, I'll have it. Just please go Metagross. Please go Metagross. Alright. Okay, Ditto. There's Pheromosa, Groudon, and Yveltal in the back, and I know which one I want to come out next. Please, get this over with. Just get this over with. Oh, right. Oh, right, there's no ground on. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I just won! I just won! +6 ice beam! +6 ice beam coming on the one thing that can threaten Slowbro! Radical Red has fallen! Radical Red has fallen! Radical Red has fallen! Mega Slowbro in a dream! I actually did it.